Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In the previous video, we have seen the operation of deleting elements, section and the entire array. Moving forward, now we will look into another kind of operation that can be performed on arrays, which is traversal. Traversal. The name itself suggests traveling throughout the array. Now, the traveling can be throughout the entire array or it can be for a single element. It can also be for a section. So let's have a look at all possibilities of traversal inside array. So first, we can have a possibility that we need to search a single element inside the array. Searching is also a part of traversal. Next, we can traverse throughout the array to find a particular section inside the array. That means we are going to traverse through a specified section. Next, we have to traverse the entire array. Traversal is a popular topic on which many questions can be asked inside the interview or coding rounds. So, let's have a look at all of them one by one. First, we will look for searching a particular element inside the entire array. So, let's take an example and illustrate this. So here we have taken an example of an array that contains 5 elements. The elements are 89, 54, 84, 51 and 156. And you know very well that array indices starts from 0. So we have a length of the array as 5. Now let's say we need to search for a single element which is 84 inside the array. Now for searching this element, we need to traverse through the array, and the traversal will start from the first element. So let's map the first element of the array with the element to be searched, and let's check whether they are equal. So in our case, they are not equal. So hence the counter will move forward and it will again check the current element with the element to be searched. They are not equal, hence we will move the counter ahead. Now again we will check, and in this case at position 2 the element which is present is equal to the element to be searched. Hence we have found out our element. So this is the first case of traversal in which we have found out a single element by traversing throughout the array. So now let's implement this using Python language. So here we are inside the code editor. Now for performing the traversal operation, obviously we need an array. So first we will initiate an array, and I am now sure that you guys now know how to initiate an array inside Python language. So we have imported a library array and we have stored it in the lis e. Here we are going to define an array of integer. So we have defined an array of some elements inside the variable arr. So the cell has got successfully executed, and now let's define a variable which contains the element that is to be searched inside the array. So here we have defined a variable search for, and let's say the value to this variable is 21. So inside the array we can clearly see that the variable or the number 21 is located at index 1. We are able to figure out this very quickly because the array is small. But what if the array is large? In that case, our program will help for that. So let's write the code for it. So as you have seen the example in that we were traversing through every element from the left. So for that we are using a for loop. So for I in arr variable, we are going to check every current element with the element that is to be searched. Since I contains the current element's value and the search for variable contains the element to be searched value. So we will check both of them with the help of the if condition, and if they are equal, then this part print statement will get executed. and we will get the location of the element that was to be searched. In the print statement, we are printing the index of the current element. And once the condition satisfies, we are going to break from the loop. So this is how you can implement the code for finding a particular element by traversing throughout the array. So you can see that the cell has given us the output that the element is found at index 1. I hope you have understood the logic behind this. Now let's have a look at the next case, which is nothing but to traverse through a section inside the array. So a section is nothing but group of elements. So whenever we are going to traverse through a group of elements, we need to first traverse through the array. So let's say we need to search for the section that is starting from index 1 and ending at index 3. Means we need to retrieve 3 elements. We know that index 1 has element 54 and index 3 has element 51. That means we need to take out these 3 elements. So now we'll start traversing from the left end of the array and we will look out for the index 1. Once we find out that the current index is 1, then we will retrieve the element which is located at that particular index. Once the element is retrieved, then we will move forward to another index and we will check whether this is the ending index or not. Since our ending index is 3 and not 2, therefore we will retrieve this current element also. So hence 84 will be retrieved. Next, we will increment the counter and we will check whether the ending index is equal to the current index or not. Yes, they both are equal. So now what we will do is we will retrieve this and we will stop here itself. We will not move forward because the ending index is nothing but the current index. So hence we have successfully retrieved the 3 elements that was supposed to be. Now by seeing this example, I hope you have got the idea behind how we can implement this using Python language. Pause the video and try to implement it by your own. Now let's implement this. So you can see that first we have initiated an array and this array contains set of elements of the type integer. Now let's say we need to traverse throughout the array to retrieve a section from it. Suppose we need to search for the section which starts from the index 1 and ends at index 3. That means we need to retrieve these 3 elements which are 21, 43 and 5445. These 3 are section that we need to retrieve. So for that I'll be defining variables. So the start variable will contain the starting point of the section, which is nothing but the starting index, and the variable end will contain the ending index. Here in our case the start index is 1 and end index is 3. So let's write the logic to retrieve that. So for that I am using a for loop for I in range start to end. Now if you remember, the range function takes 2 parameters start and end, and now inside this for loop we are going to write a print statement which will print the current element. So obviously if we are traversing through the section only, then we will print every current element of that section so that we can finally end up getting all the elements printed in that section. So now you can see that we are not getting 3 elements over here. We are only getting 2 elements. The reason behind this is that the range function that we have used, the parameters that we have passed inside the range function has some regulations. So the first parameter is inclusive, therefore there is no problem with the first parameter, but the second parameter is exclusive. So therefore we will have to add 1 to it so that the element that is located at the ending index will also get printed as a part of section. So therefore, if we now execute the cell, we will get the correct output. And now you can see that we have successfully retrieved the three elements that we were looking for. So this is the logic behind implementing the code for retrieving a section inside the array. I hope you have understood this. If you have any doubt, post it in the comment section. Now let's have a look at the third case, which is nothing but to traverse throughout the array. This is the easiest part to do. Traversing throughout the array is nothing but looping through each element inside the array. So let's visualize this with an example. Here we have taken an array. Now the counter is at index 0. Since there is no condition specified that this is the starting index and this is the ending index, so we will keep going with the counter and we will retrieve every single element which is at the current position. Hence we have retrieved 89 and 54. Now the counter will increment and the element located at the current counter will get retrieved and printed as a part of the result. Similarly, the counter will again increment and retrieve the current element as a part of the result, and so on. It will go till the end. Once it reaches to the end of the array, it will retrieve that particular element located at that position and it will stop incrementing because we are already at the end of the array. And therefore, you can see that we have successfully traversed throughout the array. Traversing through the array is easy because there is no starting and ending index. Also, all the elements are located at the adjacent position. Now let's implement this particular logic inside Python language. So it's very simple to traverse through all the elements inside the entire array. So for that we will require first an array. So let's import the library array and let's initiate the array of integer elements. So here you can see that we have initiated an array of some integer elements. Now let's write the logic for traversing throughout the array. So for that we are going to use a for loop. So we will write for I in the variable in which we have stored the array. Now you can see that we haven't stored the entire array inside a variable. So let's do that quickly and store it in the variable arr. So now we'll write the logic inside the for loop. So the logic is very simple. We just have to print every current element. Current element is stored in the variable I and we are going to print it. So you can see that we have successfully printed all the elements inside the array. Hence we have traversed through every element inside the array. I hope the logic is very clear. Instead of for loop, you can also use while loop. Your task is to do this particular operation with the help of while loop and post the answer in the comment section. So now let's have a summary about all the things that we have seen inside this particular video. So we have briefly seen what traversal is and we have seen three different cases of traversal inside the array. First we have seen how to traverse through a particular element inside the array. Next we have seen how to traverse through a section inside the array, and lastly we have seen how to traverse through the entire array. We have also seen the implementation of it in Python language. If you have any queries or suggestions, post it in the comment section. And for more such videos, like, share and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram.